Hello, my name is Trevor Cook. I'm from Fargo, North Dakota in the USA. And I would like to talk to you today about my experiences in learning about English as a foreign language or English as a second language, as well as my teaching experience that has branched out since then. My first experience with second language teaching actually comes from teaching French. I was a camp counselor at Concordia Language Villages in Minnesota, and it was there that I learned a great deal about second language acquisition and what we as teachers can do to ease that acquisition for students. It was a very thorough, a very scholarly approach to language learning, and we counselors created an environment where students did things such as going through a checkpoint, presenting passports, exchanging money, very applicable real-world situations for all of the students. And around that time, I also worked for Fargo Public Schools. I was both a tutor and a paraprofessional or teacher's assistant for special education. And some of my special education students were English language learners themselves. So I had the double duty of making sure that they could not only cope with basic life skills in America, but also use their English to the fullest of their possibilities. After that, I graduated with my Bachelor of Arts in American Studies from Minnesota State University, Moorhead. And upon graduating, I decided that I would like to teach overseas. However, I didn't have a certificate or any credential that for certain jobs would have enabled me to teach. I decided to pursue that certificate, and it is a graduate certificate in teaching English as a second language, and I earned that at my alma mater at Minnesota State University, Moorhead, and it was, for me, the most useful and relevant educational experience I ever pursued. It was chock full of learning about English structures, grammar, multiculturalism in the classroom, and not to mention even designing courses and designing assessments or tests for students. The whole program finished with an internship that was an 80-hour internship, although given the work that I did, I dare say it was about 120 hours for me. But nonetheless, it was very rewarding. I taught international university students for one semester, and I took a lot of pride in how I myself developed the class, developed the tests for the students, and I got a lot of positive feedback from the students as well. After that, I decided to live and work in Korea for roughly 4.5 years. And the bulk of my teaching was at Poly Academy, and that's when I was really introduced to content-based education. That is to say, I taught social studies, I taught art, I taught math, I taught rudimentary science, but it all had a basis in the subject. During that time, I really learned how to balance between students understanding the concepts of the subject matter and producing the best English that they could. And that has become a very useful skill for me, and I hope to continue this skill at every given opportunity. After Poly Academy, I worked at Hankook University for Foreign Studies. And there I was given basically absolute control over anything that I taught, developed, and designed. I wound up being the teacher who focused on listening and pronunciation. Whereas, yes, we would sometimes isolate consonants or vowels so that the students would produce them correctly. But one of the things that I was able to really work with these adult students was reading fluency, which I believe is crucial for any learner of a second language. Reading fluency is the ability to read smoothly and to sometimes get into character voices or knowing what intonation that one should use while reading out loud. And since then, I have imparted all of these skills in my current position, where I am teaching in Taiwan in Yunlin County, and I'm working with elementary school students. And even here, I'm pleased that I'm able to use some of my reading fluency techniques. I like to use what I've learned not only in my graduate certificate, but also in my bachelor's in American Studies. I like to throw in some cultural notes for students. They find it so interesting. As I come from Fargo, North Dakota, I know snow. It snows a lot. Here in Taiwan, very rarely does it snow, especially in the southern part of the country. So it's cultural nuances like that that I like to bring to the classroom. And my long-term goal would be to work in an institution where I do use content-based education, where the students are comfortable in asking me any questions about not only English, but the content of the subject at hand. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to hearing from you in the near future. Bye for now.